Good morning, students. How are you all? I hope everyone is fine at home. Yes, today is Tuesday, 5th of May 2020, and the topic for today is the remaining part of your journey, that is reading Captain Scott Journey to the South Pole. Today we will finish this journey and your unit number 5, Amazing Journeys, from your student's book, page number 49 and 50. This is your teacher with you, Rusa Fahad. So let's start the remaining part of your journey. Objective for today is to find which kind of text is this and what is the purpose of this text. So let's start with the key vocabulary words. Today we will revise few vocabulary words that we have done in the previous lesson also, which gonna be used again in the remaining part of the journey. So let's start. There we go. As you can see in the picture, look at the picture. What can you find in it? As you can see, there is a kind of a wooden sort of thing. This is what we call a sledge. The word is over here, a sledge. Now in this picture you can see that the animals are pulling the wooden piece. This is called a sledge. It's mean a vehicle pulled by animals which transports people and goods across snow or ice. Especially this is used in the snow area where people use the animals for transport the people and goods across snow or ice. Yes, my dear class, as you can see in the picture, this is Antarctica. This is the place where the journey took place. So it's a continent, it's near the South Pole. In the journey, they have used the word ponies. Now here, what do we mean by ponies? Ponies mean the small breed of horse. As you can see in the picture, the horse is very small. So it's a kind of a breed in which the horses are very small. In the previous lesson, we discussed about the journey of Captain Scott. He was a British naval officer and explorer. Before we start the remaining part of the journey, let us discuss with the previous part of the journey that we have discussed in the previous lesson. So he wanted to reach South Pole of Antarctica, as no one ever went over there. They left for Antarctica and reached there by their boat in January 1911. As the weather was very cold and everything was frozen, they need to wait till the summer so the ship could break through the ice to get the land. After reaching there, they set the base camp and had to wait long dark Antarctica winter. Actually, they were waiting for the warm and light enough to set out for the South Pole. At last, on 2nd of November 1911, the Scott and 9 other men set out with ponies. As I told you, that what do you mean by ponies? Ponies means a horse of small breed. The final 4 men followed later on with days. The South Pole was nearly 1500 kilometers away. So that was the end of the previous part of the journey. So today we will start from there and what happened in the journey. So class, let's read the remaining part of the journey. So what happened next? Scott planned that most of the men would turn back at stages along the way. Only 5 men made the last step of the journey. As you remember, when we were reading in the beginning, there were 9 men over there. Now they have only 5 men that made the last step of the journey to the South Pole. The men reached the South Pole on 17th of January 1912. If you remember that they reach over there on 1st of January 1911, and now what they are saying that they reached the South Pole on 17 January 1912, 76 days after they had set out. But they were not the first to get there. Captain Scott were thinking that he is the one who went over there for the very first time, but when he reached over there, he saw that he is not the first man. Another explorer, Norwegian, rolled amongst them and had beaten them. Bitterly disappointed and very tired, the men were faced with the same journey they had just completed to get back to base. But Scott and his men were very tired and the weather got worse and worse. As you can see that they reached on 17th of January again. This is the time of the dark Antarctica and having long dark winter, freezing everywhere. The temperature dropped to minus 40 degrees Celsius. Oh my god, this is minus 40 degree. It's mean that everywhere there is snow and even the boat cannot cross it. On 29 March 1912, Scott wrote in the diary what he wrote. Let's see. The end cannot be far. It seems a pity, but I do not think I can write more. Without food or fuel to heat water, they could not survive. 8 months later, their tent was found along with their bodies. What happened? They were not having enough food. And later on, what happened? After 8 months, their bodies were found in their tents. After that, the motor sledges broke down. After 80 kilometers, the ponies were not used to the freezing weather and one by one they died. Sledges, as you can see in the picture, that the animals are pulling the vehicle, that is a wooden part of the thing. This is sledge. This is the sledge. But what they are saying that the ponies were not used to the freezing weather, that the small horses were not used for this weather because they were dying one by one. So the dogs were sent back to the base camp because there was no food left to feed them. So the ponies were dying every day and the dogs were sent back to the camp because of no food. Then there was no food left to feed them. Now the men had to pull the sledges. Now as you can see in the picture, the man is pulling the sledge by himself. And then men needed extra food, but Scott had not made any plans for this. Scott didn't plan about for the coming day, that what they're gonna eat in the few coming months or few coming days. So they were not having any food. So what happened then? They were not having extra food, but Scott had not made any plans. He didn't made any plans for this. They grew weaker and began to slow down. So after reading this journey, we came to know about our answers. Our question was that what kind of text is this and what is the purpose of this text? So after reading this text, we came to know that this is a non-fiction text. Why? Because we can see that there are some dates, some months over there which is giving us some information. So as you remember that in the previous lesson we discussed about the non-fiction and the fiction text. That non-fiction text is a text in which it gives us some information. And what is the purpose of the text? The purpose of the text is to enable the readers and travelers to know about people and places to plan their journeys and make good planning before they go. Not like like the Scott, or what he did, that he didn't plan accordingly and he was suffering a lot on that time. So class, I hope you understood the journey of Captain Scott. Have a nice day.